Well, hello, welcome to the Go Live with Confidence show. This is the show that's powered by Restream, and it's all about letting you go live with confidence. Awesome to see you here. I can see some amazing people watching live. Do let me know where in the world you are watching from. And if you've got any questions or thoughts, just put it in the comments. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can level up your live video communication and confidence. Because, I don't know about you, but going live can be quite a scary thing. Sometimes you feel you're not giving your all. Maybe you're not delivering the passion that you have inside of you. So I'm going to be sharing some communication tips today, and I'm going to be sharing some exercises. I'm going to be sharing my Confident Live Warmup Formula. Now, back in the day, I trained as a professional classical singer. I've been doing teaching. I've been performing all over the country, in the UK at least. And yeah, that's kind of my background. But for the last 10, 15 years, I've also been in the marketing world and more recently in the live video world. And so I'm going to be showing some of those tips, things that I've learned across the years on all of that. So let's see who we've got watching live today. Where's my mouse gone? That's really annoying. There we go. I couldn't find my mouse. So we've got, let's see, we've got watching on Facebook. We've got Soyab saying hello. Great to see you. We've got the wonderful Carl Sullivan, who has the most fabulous beard, watching from Warrington in the northwest UK, just up the road from me. We've got the fabulous Tim Sorn watching. Tim, shouts out to Beardman Carl Sullivan. And Tim, I'm sorry I never got back to you. I think you sent me a message, and it's very rude of me, and I never got back to you, so I will get back to you. We've got Randy watching from Northern California. Beautiful part of the world. Awesome. We've also got Jerry watching from North Carolina, another beautiful part of the world. Where in North Carolina are you watching from? I went there quite a few years ago. Loved the place. And we've also got Yoko Valco watching from Montreal. And we've got Broderick, if I can say your name, sorry about this. Broderick watching from Louisville, Kentucky. Awesome. And we've got the wonderful Odie Miller here as well. Awesome. Great to see. Oh, and we've got Kathy watching from Alabama. Awesome. Well, as I said, today is all about leveling up your confidence and communication. So I want you to be honest with me. What scares you about live video? Or does nothing scare you? Maybe actually what it is that you just want to level up your communication and get in front of the camera and deliver your best to your audience. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Keep those comments coming. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Just to also let you know, this is powered by Restream. So I'm going to be showing a few cool tips with Restream later on in the show as well, which will be awesome. So I'll be with you just after this. Hello, my name's Ian Answer-Gray, and in this episode of the Go Live with Confidence show, I'm talking about how to level up your live video communication and confidence. Okay, let's get on with it now.
Want to boost your confidence in front of the camera so you can live stream more effectively and communicate with your audience? Get ready for the Go Live with Confidence show. Increase your confidence, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset so you can go live with confidence. This show is powered by Restream. And here's your host, Ian Anderson Gray.
Indeed, yes, my name's Ian Answer-Gray. I'm broadcasting from just south of Manchester in the UK on Restream's channels, also my channels, on a plethora of different channels. Oh my goodness, we're going live at so many places, all thanks to the power of Restream and Restream Studio. So if you haven't checked out Restream on Restream Studio, you definitely need to do that. All you need to do is go to iag.me/Restream, and you can take it for a test drive. There is a free plan and there are some paid plans with loads of amazing features. It allows you to go live to I think it's over 30 different destinations. You can have up to 9 guests on your show. You can highlight comments on your screen, and it is just awesome. So thank you, Restream, for producing and for powering this show. It is awesome. Now, this show is all about helping you increase your confidence, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset. And each week, it's either me sharing some tips or we have some amazing guests. And do check some of the previous shows because I have had some amazing guests on the show. And of course, there are so many shows on Restream. Every single day there is a live show, so you definitely need to check that out. So let's see who we've got watching live. We've got I mentioned we've got Jerry watching from North Carolina. We've got Randy watching from Northern California. We've got Broderick watching from Louisville, Kentucky. We've got Yoko Valco watching from Montreal. Odie Miller is in the house. Awesome to see you, Odie. Who else? We've got Kathy from Alabama. We've got Jerry watching from Roanoke Rapids near Raleigh, North Carolina. I hope you're impressed with my knowledge of the American states. Now, Carl says, getting stuck on what to say or talk about is what scares me. And that's interesting because there are three main fears. I'm going to share with you the three main fears when it comes to live video, or three main barriers. Today, we're going to be talking about that communication aspect. But yeah, getting stuck on what to say is what scares me. And I think a run of show, having some points in front of you, is really important. I've got that. I've got my little teleprompter thing here. I'm not reading a script, but I got bullet points, so I know what I'm going to be talking about in today's show. That's so important. Some people can just press the go live button and just, I don't know, improvise and go with it. To a point, I can sometimes do that, but I just think it's a lot better. And I think if you have a run a show, you have those points to allow you to not get stressed and worry about what you're going to say next. You kind of have a vague idea in front of you as well. Now, Yoko's asking how much is the plan? How much? Well, if you just go to restream.io, there is it will give you all the plans. There is a free plan, and there are some paid plans as well. And so the best thing to do is really go to restream.io, but I'll just tell you what the prices are. So the free plan is free, and then the standard plan is the equivalent of $16 per month. This gives you the ability to stream to Facebook pages and groups. The free plan is just Facebook profiles, as well as other channels as well. And then the professional plan is $41 per month. That gives you everything extra, everything as well as some extra channels, custom platforms, and extra recording stuff. So it is pretty awesome. Definitely check that out. And Odie says, question, my eyes do weird things when I'm on camera. I feel like it's distracting behavior. Where can I focus to avoid this? That's a really good question. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in more depth later. But my experience is it's really difficult to do what you need to do. And what you need to do is look directly through the camera. If I look at my screen, so for example, if I had a guest on, or if I'm just looking at myself, okay, I'm going to do that now. I'm looking down at myself at the moment, or if I had a guest, and that doesn't look great. It doesn't look like I'm looking at you, my viewer. And the most important person in my live videos is you watching now. You are the most important person, not me. So you've got to focus looking directly through the camera lens. And as human beings, we're not really designed, we're not really designed to do that, or we find it very difficult to focus on an inanimate object such as a camera. A camera is just this, usually a black piece of plastic and glass, and it just looks, it's not something that our brains are focused on. We normally focus on other human beings, looking into the eyes of other human beings. So you've got to kind of teach yourself to do that. And there are different ways of doing this. If you're on a phone, you could just put a little red sticker next to the camera. Or if you've got a webcam, then just print out a piece of paper with red arrows and just put the arrows pointing into your camera. Very low tech, but it really works. So I hope that helps, Odie. But yeah, that's definitely something that I used to struggle with a lot, and I've had to train myself to focus on through the camera at my audience. We've got a tech question. What's the best camera and software to use? That's a really hard question because it really depends, Jerry, on your situation. What is it that you're wanting to do? So maybe, Jerry, if you could let me know a bit more about what kind of live videos are you doing? You know, what are you wanting to do? Also, are you using a Mac or a PC? Now, the good thing about using Restream Studio is it doesn't matter whether you're a Mac user or a PC user. It works directly in the browser. So I recommend using using Restream Studio to begin with, at least. And I still use it today because it's so easy to use. So Restream Studio works with all webcams. So a good webcam series to use are like the Logitech's, like the C920, the C930, or the Logitech Brio is the higher end one, which is 4K. So I definitely recommend that, the Logitech range. And if you want to level things up even more, there are other cameras such as, you can get the Sony range, the Panasonic, or Canon. Now, with most of those, you'll need to use an extra piece of kit. The one I recommend is the Elgato Cam Link, and this takes the output of your camera into your computer, and you can use that like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera as a webcam. That's a bit more advanced, so I would start off with using like a Logitech camera and do it that way. Now, it's interesting, you haven't mentioned microphone, and I actually think the sound is even more important than the audio. This is why I put a lot of effort into the sound, because if you can't hear me well, or if there's a lot of background noise, you're going to switch off. So let me know a bit more, Jerry, about what you're looking for, and I'll try and help there. And Odie says it does. I'll try that, definitely. And let me know if I can help any further with that. So let's focus on how we can communicate better with our audience. And I think the first thing that I would say, oh, by the way, just to say, if you're wanting more information about Jerry, about gear and the tools that I use, then if you go to iag.me/gear guide, that is a list of all the gear and the tools that I use. So Restream Studio, the microphone that I use, the lighting, everything. And I update that regularly. So I'm actually going to make a few more updates in the next few weeks. So definitely check that out. And of course, check out Restream. The first thing that's really important is to know who you are talking to. Know your audience. And the amazing privilege that I have is that I'm getting to know you watching. So I know some of you are new to watching this today, watching the Restreams Go Live with Confidence show. And that's awesome to have you here. I want to get to know you more because you are the most important person. It's not me, it's you. And if I had a guest, you're even more important than my guest. The most important person is your audience, followed by your guest if you have a guest. And the third most important, the lowest of the low, is you. And that's really important because it's easy to become self-obsessed, to worry about not looking at the camera, to worry about your words, stumbling over your words, or the way you look, or the camera and all that kind of stuff. And Jerry, getting the right camera is a really important thing, but it's nowhere near as important as this, the confidence side of things, the mindset side of things. And quite often we spend all our time trying to get the tech right and we forget this. So if you can get this right, focus on who is the most important, engage with your community, which I'm going to be doing all throughout this. And if I missed your question, tell me about it so that I can be reminded, because you are the most important. So that's really, really important. The second thing is know what you're talking about. So do some research before you go live. And Carl, this is, I think, for you. Make sure you do that research. You know what you're going to talk about before you go live, and you make a list. Might be only 3 or 4 bullet points, but that's what I did before today's show. I know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert in my field in all of this stuff, but I still want to make sure that I've got that list in front of me so that I know what I'm talking about, and I know all the things that I want to bring up in this show. So know what you're talking about, know who you're communicating with, and know what you're talking about. And then, of course, it goes without saying, you need to be passionate about what you're talking about. If you start to talk like this, yes, I find this very interesting, then I'm not really communicating my passion here, am I? And it's going to get really boring. So you want to communicate your passion through that. And obviously choose a topic that you're passionate about. It's really hard to be passionate about, or to appear to be passionate about something that you're not passionate about. So definitely do that. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about these things, because these things might not be quite as sexy as talking about the microphone that I'm using, or I'm using a Rodecaster Pro. I probably shouldn't have admitted that, because we're going to end up talking about that, or Stream Deck, or teleprompters, or lights. Those are all the sexy things. What I'm talking about here aren't so sexy, but they are really, really vital. If you are going to grow your audience, if you're going to get more engagement, these are the most important things. Okay, having said that, Randy's asking, tell us about that mic. Okay, so let's get the tech out of the way again, and that's fine. Do ask me questions about tech. I'm here to answer all your questions, which is cool. So this microphone here, and again, if you go to iag.me/gear guide, you can find out more about this. This is my favorite microphone. It's beloved by a lot of podcasters around the world and live video gurus as well. Did I just say the word guru? I just did. Forget I said that. Live video people. It is the Heil PR40 microphone. Now, microphones are very personal, so I'm not necessarily going to recommend this to everyone. It's relatively expensive as well. It's around $300, so it's not a cheap microphone. But I love it. And hopefully you agree that the quality of the sound is great. And this is plugged directly into my Rodecaster Pro, so I've got some extra processing going on there. So Heil PR40, excellent microphone if you want really something very, very good quality. It's a dynamic microphone. So if you have an untreated room, if you've got background noise, potentially fans, going on, then a dynamic microphone is really important, because it's just going to pick up your voice in front of you. It's not going to pick up any background noise or less of that. Now, I'm just looking around my office. Just one second. No, I've just realized my other microphone that I was going to show you is downstairs. My son has borrowed it. But the other microphone that I recommend, which is on the lower end, and Carl has got this, and I don't mean that in an unkind way, in a lower end. It's Carl won this in the giveaway recently. It is the Samsung QTU, and the difference in quality between that and the Heil is not mega. This is better quality, but it's not a mega quality. It's not a massive difference. And the Samsung Q2U, and I'll put it in the comments actually. If you go to, if you just search for this, Samsung Q2U, the Samsung Q2U is great, and it is a dynamic microphone as well, but it is USB and XLR, so you can plug it directly into your computer. It's great, and I definitely recommend that. So yeah, definitely check it out. And Randy, I totally agree with you. Sound is half the video. I would almost say it's more than that. It's more important than the video. People can forgive if the video gets all pixelated if they can hear you. So I think that helps. And yes, I have definitely put that in the description. I will put that. I'll put that in the comments. The Samsung Q2U. I will also put in the gear guide in the comments as well. So it's iag.me, and you can find all of this information here. If I can actually type gear guide, there you go. It's in the comments. iag.me/gear guide. So I hope that helps. Martin Buckland is in the house. Awesome to see you, Martin. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there. Yes, I am, LOL, but maybe you could have let me know. You're probably talking about something that I've talked about earlier on. Okay, final tech question before I get on to some more talking about the communication and confidence side of things. So Carl's asking, have you tried the Stream Deck download for tablet? Is it as good as buying a Stream Deck? I know the issue with it being a yearly subscription, but thinking it might be a good way to try it. So if you've not come across Stream Decks, let me see if I can lift this up to the camera. This is my Stream Deck XL. Now, I didn't start off with this. I started with the smaller Stream Deck, which has decided to hide itself down there. But the Stream Deck is it's really cool. It allows you to do things like adjust your lighting. If you're using tools like OBS Studio or Ecamm, which are both fully compatible with Restream, by the way, you can change scenes, you can add music, you can do so many cool things. So the advantage with the Stream Deck, the physical Stream Deck, is that it's more tactile. So you can, when you press the button, it feels like you're pressing a button. Whereas on the mobile or on the tablet version, it doesn't it's not as tactile. So that's the first thing, Carl. Second thing is, yes, it is a yearly subscription. The Stream Decks are not cheap. Obviously, they're hundreds of dollars. You know, they're around. I mean, you can get the really small one, but they are expensive. But that's it. Once you've bought it, that's it. Whereas with the tablet version, it is a yearly subscription. But yeah, absolutely, definitely start out. And I know that, Carl, you want to have a Stream Deck, so this is a great way to get started. I would definitely do that. And then maybe in a year's time, if you've saved up the funds to buy a Stream Deck, then do it that way. I would definitely not recommend getting the really small one. I would either go for the standard Stream Deck, or if you can justify the cost, the XL is amazing, because you can never have enough buttons on that. And Carl, just because he's been using the Samsung QTU, it says, I think the Samsung QTU works well from a bit of a distance, about 2 feet away. And that's true. It is a dynamic microphone, but you can go away from it. And ideally you go as close to you can as possible, and then you put the gain down. That's going to get you pick up less background noise, which is what you want. So, oh, Martin's saying the most important person. You are the most important person. It's so true, Martin. You are the most important person. Not just you, Martin, although you are, but everyone who's watching is the most important person, much more important than me. So, yeah, cool. Right, let's get on with the next thing. So, where did I get to? So, yeah, the next thing is preparation, that run of show, making sure that you've got that list. You know exactly what you're going to be talking about in the show. That's so, so important, because if you don't, that's when your confidence goes out the window. It's when you start to mumble. It's when you start to speak too quickly. It's when you start to get scared and you lose focus on the most important part of the show, which is your audience, of course. So that's the next thing. We talked a lot about tech, and I did say that tech is not as important as all of this, and that's true. But the tech needs to work. You need to have confidence in the tech, and I really recommend keeping the tech simple. So yes, Stream Decks are great. Going for the high-end microphones and cameras are great, but choose a tool that can grow with you. And this is why I know this is is a show on Restream, but I do mean what I say, that Restream is a tool that grows with you. So you can start really simply using Restream Studio and just go on with yourself and a guest. And then you can add graphics. You can then maybe start thinking about multi-streaming, going live to lots of different places at the same time. You can add videos and graphics and all that kind of stuff. You could then use third-party tools like OBS Studio and Ecamm Live and play around with all those different things. You can do things like this in Restream Studio. You can add an overlay chat like this. So I can now see, which will load in a minute, I can see all the people who are commenting. So if you start to comment on in the chat, I will then see you here on the right hand side, which is awesome. So definitely start to have that confidence in the tech. Keep it simple. Make sure that you've tested everything beforehand, and then that means that when you go live, you can focus on your audience, focus directly on your audience and what you're going to be talking about. That's so, so important. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave the overlay chat on, and then you'll hopefully see when people comment what happens there. Okay, another reminder about this. It's all about your audience. It's all about you watching. But this is an important thing to remember here. There are actually two different audiences. There are the people who are watching live, and there are people that are watching in the future. And you've got to think about that when you're going live. People tend to focus just on the live audience. As important as the live audience is, you've also got to think about people watching in the future. And if you spend all your time with your live audience, then your replay audience are going to get a bit bored. And so I do try and strike that balance between the content being really, really helpful for my live audience, but also for my replay audience. I want to interact and engage with my live audience, but I also want to do that with my replay audience. So if you're watching in the future, if you are the replay audience, do pop a comment and I will get back to you and come live next time. This goes live every single Tuesday at the same time. So remember, it's all about your audience. That is so, so important. So yeah, pop a comment in so that we can see the overlay going on. Next point, and this is replying really to Odie's comment here, which is not knowing where to look. So the important thing here is to look through the camera, not look at the camera, but look directly through the camera, and imagine behind the camera is your best friend, or it's a person in your audience that you're speaking to. And that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. So I could pick one of you. It could be Odie. I'm imagining speaking to Odie, I'm imagining you're in my room and I'm speaking to you directly, or it's Carl. I haven't met you in person, Carl, but I kind of feel I know you. So pick somebody that you know and imagine that they're directly behind the camera and look through the camera at that person. That's so, so important. So we've talked about having preparing, having confidence in tech, remembering it's about your audience, looking through the camera. And this was something, the next one is what I was reminded about last week, which is, this was actually by my guest last week. Sam was amazing. So do check out last week. And this was all about embracing the silence. And I'm aware of that fact that I haven't done that so much in today's show. Slow down, be okay with silence, and most importantly, be yourself. Now, what you see is what you get with me. You do have to level things up for live video. So if we were speaking one-to-one, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later on, if we were just speaking one-to-one, then I probably would tone the energy down a little bit. I wouldn't be speaking you like this. Hello, how are you doing today? I would be leveling the energy would be lower. But what you see today, this is me. I'm being authentic. That's so important. If I try and be somebody else, then that's not going to come across really well. So slow down, be okay with silence, and be yourself, be authentic. That is so, so important that you do that. And I can't kind of overemphasize that really. So you can see on the right hand side, this is a cool new feature in Restream Studio. It's actually not that new now. It's been around for a few months now, but this is the overlay chat. This is cool. So I can see we've got Gary Michael saying, Gary Bowman Michael checking in again from Atlanta. It's great to see you, Gary. Thank you so much for joining us. And I can see Carl Sullivan is asking a question here. So being very kindly putting a cue there beforehand. Let's just go down. I'm going to highlight this on the screen so you can do both. So Carl is asking, I think more of a tech question here. Can you use Ecamm in Restream to multi-channels and pull in the messages from all the places I would post to? Really good question. And the answer to that is a resounding yes. This is the most amazing feature. So if you're using a tool such as Ecamm supports the chat API from Restream. And so this is really important. So what happens is if you're using Ecamm, for example, you choose your destination as Restream. And the other cool thing is you can go live, or if you set up an event in advance, so you've scheduled your live video in advance, say maybe you're going live next Thursday at 2 p.m. You'll see in the drop-down menu in Ecamm that event is there. So you then select that, and when the time comes, you can then go live to that Restream event, and that Restream will then broadcast that out to all those different destinations. So that will be, for example, Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, and well, Periscope is going, unfortunately. Twitter's decided to end Periscope, but there are loads of other channels like Mixcloud and Twitch and all those cool things. So I'm using a Restream Studio, so I can see all the comments here. But if you're using a tool like Ecamm that supports this, Restream will send all those comments down to your version, your computer on Ecamm, and you'll be able to see them within Ecamm and then be able to highlight those on the screen within Ecamm. I hope that makes sense, but yes, you can. The important thing to remember is that not all platforms support chat. So the major ones do: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, for the time being. LinkedIn Live, did I say Twitch? There might be one or two others, I can't remember, but the major ones do. Some of the other ones don't. For example, Mixcloud at the moment doesn't. So if you want to engage with comments on Mixcloud, you have to go over to Mixcloud, just because Mixcloud haven't developed that API yet that Restream can use. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Bit more techie, but I hope that answers your question, Carl. Okay. Martin Buckland says, so instead of focusing on Martin or on Carl or on any of these amazing people, apparently I just have to focus on $1 million behind the camera. And I know you're kind of being a bit funny there and tongue in cheek. There's actually, there is an important thing here which is, why are you doing your live video? And don't be afraid of, if you are in the marketing business, if you're marketing your business, then don't be afraid of marketing your business and talking about that on your live shows. If you have an audience and they have turned up to hear more about you and you've got a product or a service that they want, then talk to them about it, so that's a reminder about that. So I hope that helps. And Carl, I love this. Stick a teddy behind the camera and talk to that. Awesome. Great. I love that. In fact, I actually used my daughter's teddy for a demo. I was trying to demo how to use Restream Studio with a guest, and I didn't have anyone else I could kind of get at the time. So I just put my phone in my daughter's room. She was at school, and I got her teddy and just focused the camera on her teddy, and that was my guest, and I took a screenshot. So that was that was awesome. Gary, I love Gary's comments, so keep them coming, Gary. Here's an analogy perhaps to make your point. If you're not trying to be an evening news anchor or a game show host, then you shouldn't try to talk like one on your podcast. Great. Yeah, really good. So let me unpack this. So I think this is, you said if you're not trying to be an evening news anchor or a game show host, then you shouldn't try to talk like one on your podcast. And I think what's important here is thinking about the medium. So if you are on TV, if you're on like satellite or cable TV, and you're broadcasting to millions of people, then by all means, act like a news anchor or a game show host. That's probably the kind of energy that we all expect. But if you're broadcasting on Facebook or YouTube, then the audience, I think, expects something slightly different. I find that if I see people on live video who are speaking like a game show host or speaking like an evening news anchor, I kind of switch off. It's the wrong kind of energy. And the other important thing here is it really depends on you. I mean, I know some people that are really full of energy, high energy. So my friend Molly Mahoney is awesome. She's a live video person. She does loads of cool things. She's got loads of energy. And when you see her on a live show, she puts all of that energy in. That's just the way she is. But if I tried to put that same level of energy in, it would just look fake. So you've got to be true to yourself. You've got to be true to yourself. So I agree with you, Gary. I definitely do. I think that's a really good point there. So I've talked about all those different things. I've talked about, know who you're talking to. Your audience is your most important. Know what you're talking about. Be passionate about what you're talking about. Prepare. Have a run of show. Have confidence in the tech. Remember, again, it's about your audience. Look through the camera and then slow down. Be okay with silence and be yourself. So important. So let's look at the next thing. Just to let you know, by the way, if you just joined, welcome. It's awesome to see you here. In today's show, I'm going to be talking about how to level up your communication and confidence in front of the camera. And now we're going to get on to sharing. I want to share with you my Confident Live Warmup Formula. I'm going to show you how to improve your diction, breath control, pitch, interest, and posture as well. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And yeah, we might even do a little bit of vocal exercises and things like that. So keep those comments coming. I'm going to share my screen now. So this is one of the awesome things you can do in Restream Studio. Let's just sort this out. I did have this set up earlier. Where's it going? There we go. Share my screen. Okay. Is this going to work? There we go. Awesome. So I think the thing that a lot of us struggle with when we get in front of the camera, we get all self-obsessed and concerned with ourselves. We're worried about looking like an idiot. So in the comments, if you're watching live or the replay, if you have ever felt like an idiot in front of the camera, just put the word idiot. And I'm not gonna type the word idiot in the comments because people might think that I'm calling them an idiot, and I'm not. But I've definitely been an idiot. Okay, I've definitely felt like an idiot on camera and get all self-obsessed and concerned. So if you have ever felt like that in front of the camera on a live video, put idiot in the comments. But yeah, there are three main challenges when it comes to live video, and Carl mentioned one of them earlier. But the first thing is the gear and the technology. So it might be using how to use Restream. It might be choosing the best microphone or the best camera, or getting a teleprompter or the lighting. It might be that kind of thing. Or it could be the fear and that mindset, the communication side of things, which is what we're talking about on the show. It could be that you're worried about. Maybe you're wanting to communicate more effectively. Martin is saying, yes, a member of the Idiot Club. Martin, you can't be the only one. Well, I'm definitely a part of that Idiot Club. Anyone else a member of the Idiot Club? And then the final thing is that content and marketing sphere. So it is knowing what you're going to talk about. This is what Carl said. What do you talk about on your show? How do you communicate that with your audience? And how do you promote your live shows? So you might be struggling with one of these. Maybe you feel you're an introvert. That somehow disqualifies you from going live. I'm an introvert. It's not an issue. Comparison syndrome. You're comparing yourself with other people out there. That compare and despair side of things. Maybe you're feeling like an idiot, or you don't like the way you look or sound. Imposter syndrome is a big issue as well. Or maybe it's the technology and you're using that as an excuse not to go live. Yeah, so Martin says he's a member of the Idiot Club. And Gary, I'm glad you're all being honest because it makes me feel better. Now, I rejoin the club on a weekly basis, Gary says, but I want to know how do you get out of the Idiot Club? So you say you have to rejoin it. So presumably you leave the Idiot Club and then you come back again. I'm just interested in that cycle. Can you maybe expand on that, Gary? And Odie saying idiot. Yeah, and Carl says, idiot. Yes, all the time, but I think it's fun. And yeah, I'm glad you said it. So I was going to come on to this, but I think it's fun. Messing up on camera, I like, but if it's just audio, I'm not sure it works so well. I agree with you, messing up. So there were two types of messing up, though, I think. So there's messing up, just stumbling over words or saying something silly, or maybe the cat jumps on the table, or I don't know, something funny like that happens. And that's okay. That's cool. Just laugh at it. Don't take yourself so seriously. That's really fun when that happens. Might not be to you, but it is. It is okay. There is another type of feeling like an idiot that isn't quite so good. So, for example, you've forgotten to switch the microphone on and you're speaking for half an hour without the sound coming out, or there's some kind of tech issue, or maybe, I don't know, the quality of what you're doing is not that great. There might be something like that. Now that is not good. And so from that experience, obviously you want to learn for future. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about in a bit. So, and I definitely agree with what you're saying here, Gary. Totally. Don't take yourself so seriously. Try to make light of it, then move on. This was a big problem for me. I used to get self-obsessed and not make light of it and get really embarrassed by it. But just, yeah, don't worry about it. Self-deprecating humor totally is the best kind. And as a Brit, I'm okay with it. I can definitely do self-deprecating humor. So we all need to learn that. Perfectionism syndrome. Let me know if you are a recovering perfectionist like me. That can really harm you as a business owner. Don't let the perfectionism stop you from producing amazing work, because it doesn't have to be amazing quality. It's in terms of the design, the look and feel. It's you turning up and learning from the experience and delivering the best value that you can at that time. So the good thing about perfectionism, or the good thing about live video, I should say, is that live video is it's almost like the perfect antidote to live video. So here is an amazing chart that I created. This has taken months and months of deep investigation, speaking to people all around the world. I'm joking. I just put this together in about 5 minutes, but it's true, because what this shows is the more videos, the more you go live, the more confident you become. Now, over time, you will have some dips. Things will go wrong. I don't know. This has happened to me before. Things go wrong and you have those blips, but you know what? You have to pick yourself up from the floor, learn from it, and next time you go live, it will be better. It will get better and better and better and better over time. Yes, there'll be blips along the way. The other thing is that the fear factor gets less. That I still feel nervous every time I go live. That's okay. But I don't feel afraid anymore. I don't have the same nerves as I did before. I've learned how to channel that nervous energy into my communication in front of the camera. So that chart is so important, that you do that. And so I love this from Carl. He says, I did the other day, did not realize I'd gone live and was trying to find a good SnapCam filter to start with, but I'd already started. And yeah, that's another thing, of course. If you want to use SnapCam, you can use that with Restream Studio. It's awesome. You can make some fun filters on there. And yeah, it's but do you know what? I've gone live, and then I've forgotten to press the end broadcast button, and I continued talking to my guest afterwards. That's almost worse. So do make sure you press that end broadcast button. And but I bet, Carl, I bet people found that fun, and you know, you just laughed at it, and it's great to do that. Okay, yeah. So just to re-say this, crush perfectionism syndrome with live video, because do you know what? Live video is not going to be perfect. It's just going to be done. So if you want to create content, if you want to gain in confidence, go live. Go live. Keep it simple. Crush perfectionism syndrome. And I want to know if you agree with me on that one. If you agree, if you want to crush perfectionism syndrome, let me know in the comments. Just push, if I can speak properly. That's quite funny talking about perfectionism syndrome. Just put crush it in the comments. Crush it if you want to crush perfectionism syndrome, and do it with live video. And Carl's picks himself up and he says, yes, it turned out to be a great start. So you need to share that. Actually, I'd love to see that. I bet that was really funny. Cool. Okay. So once you've finished your broadcast, then you need to do 3 things, and you need to treat yourself with kindness. How many of us treat ourselves with kindness? I think very, very regularly we treat ourselves actually quite badly. So the first thing that I need to say to you is either watch back your live video or do a kind of an analysis of what you've done, but you've got to be constructive. Ideally, you do it with somebody else and you watch it back together, or you ask your audience, you know, what did you think of that? Be constructive with that. Write down 3 things that you did well, followed by 3 things that you need to improve for next time. So although, Carl, that thing with SnapCam at the beginning was fun and it was great, next time you're going to remember, obviously, to change that and to choose your SnapCam filter beforehand. But before you even think about that, that's interesting that that's the first thing that you probably thought about when it came to that live video. You looked at the 3 things to improve, but before that, what went well? Carl, I want to know what went really well in that episode. What can you be proud of? What can you build upon for the future? And then focus on the little bits that you can improve for the future. So that's really important. Treat yourself like you would with clients or a friend, because you wouldn't tell your client that they were a complete idiot, whereas you might if you're talking about yourself. And that brings me on to my Confident Live Warmup Formula. And these are 6 steps, 6 exercises that you can do to get more confidence in front of the camera and to improve your communication. And so I'm excited to share this with you. Just seeing a comment here from Gary. I love Gary's comments. I love all of your comments. So please, I want to hear from you. If you're watching live or the replay, let me know what your thoughts are all on this. Gary says, it's better to try to be your best than to try to be perfect, which is cosmically impossible for humans. Yeah, so true. You're never going to be perfect. And, you know, I think just do it, you know, to begin with. Go live, maybe go live in a private group, just play around with it, mess things around. You know, at the beginning in a group or going live just to yourself, then you can make those mistakes, like forgetting to switch the microphone on. Do some tests to begin with, and then over time you can improve that. And yeah, don't try to be perfect. Is true. So true. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Relaxing the body. This is what you need to do before you go live. Make sure that your body is relaxed. So important that your posture is really good. Most of us humans walk around with really bad posture. So the way you sit, the way you stand is going to help you communicate better. It's going to make you look more confident and feel more confident if you've got good posture. And that brings us on to breath control. Having really good breath control will help you to take those big, deep breaths in, which will allow you to communicate better, but also make you feel less nervous. Number 4, really important, pitch interest. Making sure that the sounds, the pitches in your voice go, you're using the highs and the lows. You're using a wider vocal range so that it sounds more interesting. If you speak on a monotone like this, it becomes very, very boring, which we don't want. 5, diction and energy, making sure that you enunciate all your words, that people understand you, no matter what accent that you have. And I'm not trying to change any accents here. You know, you should be embracing your accent and being happy and in who you are, but you may need to improve your diction so that people can hear you. And that's a separate thing. And definitely your energy. And then a final thing, which I'm not going to tell you anything about until we get there, is heightened authenticity. Heightened authenticity. So let's focus on relaxing your body. And I want you to join in with me. Now, if you're, I don't know, if you're driving the car, you probably shouldn't be driving the car while watching a video, but just obviously be aware of your surroundings when you're doing some of these exercises that I give you. But we're going to focus first of all on relaxing the upper body. So what I want you to do is just put your arms up in the air like that and stretch up to the ceiling for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just shake them out like that. Shake them, okay, and then shake them down there, and shake your legs as well, so that you're not feeling any of that kind of tension. Okay, so that's arms and legs. Okay, next one is shoulders. I'd love to know, do you have any tension in your shoulders right now? I do. I probably had very bad posture today. So what I want you to do is take your right hand onto your left shoulder. Let me just go onto full screen here so you can see me. So right hand onto the left shoulder, and then look over to your right. I'm just going to have to check that I'm still speaking to the microphone, and give your left shoulder a bit of a massage like this. Okay, and then do the other side. So take your right hand onto your left shoulder, look over to your left, and give that a massage as well. So already I'm feeling kind of less tension in my shoulders and upper body. That's really important. So also lift your shoulders up to the ceiling, and then down again, and then up, back, and down in circles like that. That feels so much more relaxed already. I hope you feel relaxed too. Okay, the next thing is the neck. I tend to hold a lot of tension in my neck, so just rub up and down with your neck with fingers. Sorry, let's start again. Rub up and down onto your neck with your fingers and thumbs, looking down at the floor, just getting rid of any of that tension. Already that feels better. And then just rub down with your fingers and thumbs down to the floor on your neck like that. Okay, that feels good. While you're doing this, you might want to do a big kind of like sigh, a big yawn, just because it automatically opens up the throat, and that's good for your diction, your resonance as well. So that feels good. Okay, so that's your neck. Next thing is your jaw and your face. So you want to make sure that you're relaxing the jaw. So just massage the jaw there. Okay, just make it nice and floppy like this. And then I want you to do a big face like this, big facial expression. And then a tiny facial expression like this. And then just big, small. So you can do those big contrasted facial expressions, which will just liven up the way you look in front of the camera, which is so important. Okay, and then the next one, sorry, I just realized I am not showing my screen there, so let's go back there. And then the final thing is just the throat, which I've talked about, which is just keep it nice and open there. Cool. Now let's have a look at this is another comment from Gary. He says, here is an oddball tip. Go out and do some karaoke in front of strangers. Pick songs that you can pull off fairly well and practice ahead of time. You can get a lot of confidence in public speaking by learning to sing. Well, I definitely agree with you on that one, and that's my background. I trained as a professional classical singer, as I said at the start, and a lot of these exercises come from the singing world. Karaoke, interestingly, I don't know what it is about karaoke. I find that quite scary, probably because I'm a classical musician, but yeah, absolutely. So hopefully once the world comes out of, goes to a bit more normality, we can come back to doing those kind of things. So yeah, and as you said, live karaoke has probably been banned forever thanks to COVID. I don't think forever. I'm sure we'll be getting back to that. Okay, so let's look at the next one, which is posture. If your posture's like this, that's really not good. So let's focus on improving your posture. First of all, don't look at yourself. Look directly through the camera, as I said before, directly through, about 12 inches behind. And ideally, I prefer to stand when I'm doing my live videos. I'm standing at the moment. I don't know if you can tell, but I think that just gives me more energy when I stand. But I want to share with you the noble position. So the noble position is kind of from the singing world, but also from the acting world. And it's just presenting yourself. It's standing or sitting like a very, very important person. Because, of course, you are. Okay, I did say earlier that you are the third most important person, but it's still important. So these are the things you need to think about. Lengthening the spine. Head up and tailbone down. Shoulders back and down. We've focused on those shoulder exercises. It's almost, you should feel that you can balance a book on your head, that you've got that amazing posture there. And your rib cage is expanded. That's really important as well. Now, Martin says here, public speaking is different from live streams in front of one camera. And I'd love you to expand on that, Martin. I know you do a lot of public speaking, maybe not quite so much in the pandemic world we're in, but hopefully we're getting out of that and you'll be able to get back to more of that. But how do you find the difference? I'll tell you how I feel it. So I actually find that the camera is an energy sucking device and I need to put more energy in because the camera sucks that energy away from me. Whereas if I'm speaking in front of an audience of 300, 400, 500 people, there's an energy in the room that I can kind of use. And I think it's slightly dangerous to rely on that energy, but it is there and it is easier. So yes, the camera is a bit of a problem there. And Carl makes a very valid point. He says that karaoke is great and easy after 4 to 5 beers. And I think you're probably right on that one. Louise is here. Great to see you, Louise. Excellent exercises. I teach yoga, but love to dance around the living room to my favorite song before I go live. That is cool. I love that. And actually, I've been doing, I'm going to admit this now. I've been doing dancing around the house on my own or with the kids. We do that on Saturdays when we clean the house. Actually, we do some disco cleaning. But actually, why not just put on some high energy or fun music before you go live? I think that's a great way. I love that, Louise. Thank you so much for sharing that. So noble position, that brings me on to, and I'm sure, Louise, you've got lots of experience around this when you teach yoga. That brings me on to breath control. Breathing is so important when it comes to your live videos. And here, you probably didn't expect me to share this. This is an image of the rib cage and the diaphragm. The diaphragm is just at the bottom of the rib cage, and it regulates our breathing. So it's really important. The diaphragm is not something that you can control directly very easily, but you can think about expanding your rib cage and focusing the breath downwards and out into the sides. And so this person here is going to be breathing out. So you can see the diaphragm is pushing the air out. The rib cage is going in. And now look what happens when this person breathes in. So the rib cage goes out, the diaphragm pushes down. And so that's what I want you to think about. When you breathe, I want you to put your hands just below your bottom ribs. And I want you to feel breathing into the sides like that. Now, most people breathe very shallowly up here. shallow breathing, which is not good. So breathe into your sides. And so there are some exercises you can do here. We don't have time to go through all of these, but you can breathe out to these different sounds, like a hiss sound, a zzz, a f, or a v. So you're taking that breath in slowly, breathing in, and then let it out. Zzz. So that was a 3-second zzz sound because I'm focusing on my breathing there. So really good exercises. I'm going to go on to the next slide. If you're interested to go through these exercises, you can of course watch the replay, and you've got all of these there. Next one is pitch interest. I can see some great comments, Martin and Gary. I'm just going to get back to you in a second, but I want to share pitch interest because this is really important, that we vary our pitch, that we don't speak on a monotone. So there's a couple of exercises you can do here. First of all is practicing going up in your sentences. And the important thing here is to do it over the top. You'd never speak like this, but we're wanting you to get out of your comfort zone. So normally I would say, yeah, I want to go live. But what I want you to do here is to go up on each of those bits. So, yeah, I want to go live. Do you see what I did there? I went really over the top. Yeah, I want to go live. So I'm using the high part of my voice in there. And then I want you to use your lower bit. So it's the end of the show. So it's almost musical in what you're doing there. Really important stuff. And then you could do some lip trill exercises. These are really silly, but we do these a lot in singing. So these allow you to go even higher into your voice, like this. Like that. Or if you can't do that sound, you could roll your R. Those are really great exercises to get you using the highs and the lows in your pitch. Gary says, talk about the karaoke thing. Good point. I think I will grab a bottle of Jack Daniels and go live. I'm not sure that's the best advice. Oh my goodness. I think a bit of clarity is good. But yeah, you can definitely have that after you go live. I'm kind of quite partial to a little whiskey afterwards. And Martin Buckland makes, so he's just clarifying a few things here. It says, I'm confident seeing my audience, which has been up to 3,300 people. I can relate to them, concentrate on a set number, whereas on one camera, it fails to excite me. So you have to get that excitement. You have to kind of get that from inside of you. And I did lose concentration. I could talk for a long time on the emotions between the two. Yeah. And it is an issue. Getting in front of that camera, you've got to get that energy. Now, Gary says, Beinhorn method for singing is great for speaking as well. It's very interesting. I need to look more into that. So definitely. Okay, diction. So vowel sounds, first of all. This is a cross-section of, this is an x-ray actually of somebody going through the different vowels. You can see the tongue there. The vowels here are E, E, A, O, U. So look what happens. E, A, O, U. So when you do those vowels, E, A, O, U, make sure that you're really getting a big difference. So the R's are really open, the E's are really wide, and the U's are really kind of small. Making that really, really focused is going to help you with your vowel sounds. So practice those vowel sounds. R as in car, air as in bed, E as in cheese, R as in hot, oo as in rude. Okay, we're nearly there. I realize I've gone over the hour, but if you can just bear with me a few more minutes, I'll go through the final bits of the Confident Live Warmup Formula. So some tongue twisters that you can do. These focus on the consonants. So you can do the British version or the North American version of this one. The British version would be bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a. You're getting those T's. Or if it's the North American version, bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a, bit of a lot of a. Doesn't really matter. Just practice which one is good. Zala zala ralla ralla, zala zala ralla ralla, mana mana nama nama, mana mana nama nama, and gotta go. So practice those before you go live, just to get that diction, get the energy in that loads. And then, of course, you can put it all together and sing a song. So why don't I sing a song for you? This is the words, Daddy's Got a Head Like a Ping Pong Ball, to the song, to the tune, the William Tell Overture. And this is a great way of putting it all together. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball, like a ping pong ball. There you go. It's really good exercise to do. You can put it all together. And thank you, Louise, saying great advice as always. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your advice as well on this. And Carl says, yes, I'm from Manchester, so diction is an issue. That's not true, Carl. I've seen you on live videos and I understand you. You've got good diction. Embrace your accent. I know that my accent isn't very Mancunian. I don't know. It's just I've moved around the country a lot. But, you know, just embrace who you are. It's awesome. I think you've got a great accent. Just embrace it. So the final thing is heightened authenticity. And I'll be brief on this. This is about putting that energy. So remember that camera is the energy sucking device that's sucking the energy out of you. You want to be yourself, but you also need to raise the level up a little bit more. And so what you need to think about are there are different levels that we communicate with in real life. And you need to think about where live video sits on this. So on a one-to-one level, I'd probably speak at this level, okay, which is quite quiet. If I was speaking with a small group, it would be a little bit more energy in it. If I was giving a workshop to say 20, 30 people, I'd probably speak at this level. Now, when it comes to live video, I think you need to raise things up even more just for your own practice. So for live video, it might be more at this level. And then remember, there is a fifth level. And this is the bit that people really don't enjoy doing. Martin, you've been speaking in front of audiences of over 3,000. So this is the kind of like the big keynote speech. Speaking at this level. So come up with a phrase. What phrase, you might have a tagline for your business or that sums up what you talk about on your live videos, and then practice it at those different levels. So on the one-to-one level, I might say, so this is my tagline, level up your impact and authority using live video. If I'm speaking to a small group, I level up your impact and authority using live video. I'm still being myself. Workshop, level up your impact and authority using live video. Okay, now I'm doing a live video in front of the camera. Level up your impact and authority using live video. And then finally, big keynote in front of, I don't know, 10,000 people. Level up your impact and authority using live video. Okay, so that would be over the top for a live video, but it's just getting me out of my comfort zone, getting me putting more energy into that. I'm just joking about Carl saying, what's he say? My new shower song, Daddy's Got a Head Like a Pole. Yeah, it is a good song. It is definitely a good song. So, thank you so much, everyone, for watching today. I know I've gone over a little bit, but we had so much to cover. Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. When I first, about half an hour before I went live, I doubted myself and I thought, I don't think I've got enough material. I think, you know, I'm going to run out. And I wonder whether you sometimes have those doubts. You've got to sometimes just go with what you've got and know that you're okay. But I really appreciate you watching. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Gary. Who else have we had in the show? We've had other people earlier on getting involved. We had Ibrahim. We had Randy. Odie. Thank you so much for watching. You are the most important parts of the show. You are why I do this. It's the T. And do check out Restream at iag.me/Restream. I'll just put that up on the screen so you can see it. And just to say, we go live every single Tuesday with the Go Live with Confidence show at 5 p.m. in the UK, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But that is the end of the show. And so, of course, what I wanted to say to you is to encourage you to increase your confidence, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset so you can go live with confidence. I'll see you next week. Toodaloo. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Go Live with Confidence show with Ian Anderson Gray, helping you get over the fear, improve your communication, and optimize your mindset so that you can go live with confidence. Check out Restream and take it for a test drive at iag.me/Restream. And until next time, toodaloo.